Another month comes to a close, and as per tradition, we have a brand new Terraria state of the game. And honestly, what a month it's been. From the dinosaur mount to the mushroom boy, the tree versus axe war, we're seeing a lot of cool stuff recently. So today we're recapping the state of the game, and then I've also got a bunch of extra spoilers that I found along the way. But before we get into it, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video. Making videos is the highlight of my day, and when I'm working or gaming, the last thing I want to think about is planning a meal. If you're the same, you're gonna want to hear this. Back to 75 is a meal delivery service perfect for those wanting to eat right without the stress. Say goodbye to takeout hassles and meal prep struggles, as Factor 75's chef-prepared meals are the ultimate fuel to support a healthy lifestyle, ensuring you stay on top of your game both in and out of the virtual world. With Factor 75, enjoying delicious, healthy meals has never been easier. With just a few clicks on their website, you can start having meals that match your dietary requirements delivered straight to your door. They've got options for keto, calorie smart, vegan, vegetarian, and more than 27 plus meal options per week, meaning there's something for everyone. Factor meals arrive pre-prepared and ready to eat in 2 minutes or less, so you can heat and eat a chef-quality meal with no prep or cleanup required in less time than it takes for Terraria NPCs to get out of the way of your chests. Alongside the 34 plus meal options, there's also 36 add-ons like smoothies, keto shakes, desserts, and more. Honestly, look how good this food looks. So to get 50% off your first box, head to the link on screen or in the description and use my special code to start eating right today. Alright, so jumping into the state of the game, this is what Relogic had to say. The team has started the customary full playthrough that accompanies the end stages of development. These are very important and fun sessions where we unearth any remaining pesky bugs, find anything that feels unbalanced or not fun, and quite often come up with some fun new ideas. We've been taking the time to listen to fan requests as well, and one we heard pretty frequently is a way to see which worlds and which characters have visited previously as a method to help know which character goes with which worlds. Players and worlds are now also sorted by most recently played. I also noticed that they've added a little icon to the worlds menu, which will probably tell you which worlds are a combination of seeds. That being said, I would still love if you were able to actually change the icon that appears here in the upper right. Say, for example, I have a mage character and a world that I've been playing on. I would love to change it to a star to say, hey, this is the mage character that goes with this mage world. They do continue to say, the team is also having fun diving into the potential of world seed combinations. With 128 different possible seed combinations, the team has let its creativity run wild by adding a whole bunch of fun combo effects, some big and some small. This includes at least 2, or maybe more to come, combos that will substantially change the gameplay experience in unexpected ways. And they also included this spoiler of the player dressed up as a vampire, and it's very fitting because, as we can see in this spoiler, it turns out that this is actually a vampire seed, so you'll be hurt by the sun, forcing you to stay underground for your entire adventure. And I really love this because it actually reminds me of really old school Terraria challenges back in 2011 where there wasn't too much to do in the game. You'd ask, hey, how do I make the game fun again? And somebody would be like, oh, you just stay underground. You know, you just never pop up to the surface. That's the challenge right there. But moving on, the TModLoader team had some interesting news to share. They said, we are excited to announce that 1.4.4 TModLoader will be available starting August 1st as TModLoader's default experience. After a lot of testing and changes, we are ready to release this next big version of TModLoader. We have seen significant uptake within the modding community on our 1.4.4 preview beta and are looking forward to a smooth transition to the next big stage. A lot of hard work went into this, so a big thank you to everyone involved. So moving on to mobile and console. Now, as we know, they are trying to do a simultaneous launch just like the last update, so console and mobile news, it's kind of all news now. But this is what they had to say. Over on the console/mobile front, we are currently adding content just as fast as the PC side can put it out. We thought we would put together this fun little collage/montage of a recent testing session where we were trying out the new Velociraptor transformation. Now, in a previous news video, we actually saw the dinosaur mount in action, just mowing some grass. For Relogic, they actually hid one very important detail about this mount. One detail which I think is actually going to shock a few people to their core. It turns out that the dinosaur mounts, well, they can wear hats. Yeah, all right. Best update you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, we can see here that this one is wearing a red hat dyed black. This one is wearing some horns. This one here is wearing a peddler's hat. This one here has a full-on beard. And what can I say? All right, this spoiler, it just speaks for itself. Seriously though, I've said this a million times. This new lighting system is gorgeous. This sunset looks so nice. I never thought we'd see anything like this in Terraria. Now that's it for the state of the game, so let's talk about some screenshots I was able to find. First off, somebody wrote to Red and said, "Hey Red, I remember you previously made a statement about a boss rush kind of thing and was wondering if you guys had any plans on actualizing it or if it is in the works." Well, Red responded and said, "I have all sorts of plans for potential post-Moonlord content. Don't know if I'll get around to any of it though. Terraria 2 is calling me." Next up, somebody wrote to Red and said, "So, will Chromatic Cloak regain its ability to make stars fall upon taking damage and perhaps a Chromatic Mana Cloak?" Red responded, "I'll stew on this for a bit." Next up, somebody wrote to Red and said, "Is there a chance you can make players able to open up their map as they're waiting for respawn? I'm always waiting when I'm dead." Well, Red responded and said, "What if we added a spectate mode?" Yesterday on the Terraria forums, Red put up a status that said, "I can't stop thinking about how awesome it would be to have a rat transformation that lets you crawl through one-tile gaps." Now listen, I am all for this, but the rats also need to be able to wear hats. That is, it's a requirement. Next up, Red put up a status that said, "If you had to pick between a watermelon tile set and a fallen star tile set, what would you choose?" Well, Senex jumped in and said Fallen Star, and after reading through the comments, I think most people said Fallen Star. So I want to hear from you lot down below. Which one of these would you pick? Next up, Red put up a status that said, "Throw some interesting ideas for achievements at me." One person responded, "I have an idea for a new hard achievement. Professional zoologist, complete the bestiary." And Red responded, "Yeah, I don't know how we skipped this one. It's a no-brainer." If they do decide to actually add this as an achievement, I feel like the universal pylon will actually get some love. So many people don't even know it's in the game because most people would never think about completing the bestiary. Next up, Red responded to Ghostar's meme about old people with this image here showing Old Man Red saying, "It's been 30 years, but the final update is almost complete." Now, I'm pretty convinced that dialogue isn't making its way into the update, but that dungeon probably is, and it's gorgeous. So what I think we're looking at here is a revamped dungeon for the Not the Bee seed, because we did see them go back and touch up some secret seeds in 1.4.4, and I imagine this is part of that trend. Next up, somebody wrote to Red and said, "Idea, shimmer item, like a Gis fruit that reduces the time it takes to respawn." Red responded and said, "Not a bad idea actually." And as someone who's been playing quite a bit of multiplayer recently, I have to agree with this one. I know it's there for the challenge, but respawn time, it's quite long when you have a lot of people playing. And leading on from that, Jim actually tweeted out, "A pile," she said, "one of my clips from last night's playtesting." Now, unfortunately, I am going to have to censor this a little bit, so I'll explain the clip before we play it. This is Senex reacting to Red's special boulder that he added because of the Axe Tree War, and it leaves a pile of... I'll leave it to your imagination.
Oh my god, it leaves a pile of...
It's only a one.
Whitney just found the new boulder.
Nah. Sod right off. That is not in the game. Nah, I refuse to believe. Oh. Now, you may have noticed that I actually made a surprise appearance in that clip, and that's because for the past week, Red and Senex were kind enough to invite me along to a little playtest of 1.4.5. I know someone will ask, and obviously I make these news videos, and it's important that you all know, I haven't actually joined Relogic, and I'm not in the process of joining Relogic either. They were just kind enough to invite me along to share in the fun and also to do a tiny bit of filming so that one day I can give you all a little behind the scenes look at how Terraria is playtested. I had so much fun this past week. I really did love it. It was honestly a blast, and that wasn't because I was playing a new update. It was mainly just because I was getting to play with like really cool people. And what motivated me to join this play session was not to see the update. You may have heard me say this before, but I really do like to get the spoilers the way we get spoilers, and I like to theorycraft and whatnot. It was just to get the chance to see how Terraria is playtested, because the whole thing is fascinating watching it happen live, and hopefully I can give you that insight one day. I imagine once the update is out though. But that playtest has come to an end now because I'm actually off on a trip, and to mark the celebration, since we were playing for the worthy, I decided it was probably time to blow up my house and Jim's house as well by fighting Skeletron Prime for the worthy and seeing which one of our flags would survive the longest. As the only British player on the server, I did lean hard into my nationality, and after a fight with Skeletron Prime, here is the aftermath. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as before, but you know what? It's got character. Also, I don't think they realized when they tweeted this out, they did include a new spoiler, so let's talk about it. Inside of Jim's house, you can see these giant green blobs that are hanging from the ceiling, and although they look like mutated grapes in a way, I think they're the barnacles from Dead Cells. Although, even though I've played Dead Cells, I'm not actually too sure. But that's it for today. Once again, thank you to our sponsor Factor for sponsoring this video. You can find them at the top of the description. And that's it for today. Peace.